Alaikum. Very good evening, everyone. Dear parents, teachers, students, boys and girls, very good evening to you, everyone. I hope you are all healthy and safe, you and your family. I'm glad to see dedicated parents and teachers and students keen to attend this session to support their students and children compiling the OUD portfolio. First of all, please allow me on behalf of the on behalf of the Sharjah Education Council to take this opportunity to warmly welcome you all and thank each one of you for being interested in the prestigious award Sharjah, in the prestigious Sharjah Award for Educational Excellence, and for taking time to attend this orientation session. Your presence today is step number one in a journey towards excellence. My name is Ziad Shatat. I'm privileged to be a member of the judging panel and part of the training committee. And in today's session, I will be talking and describing the evaluation standards of the Outstanding Student Category Award to support you with your journey towards excellence. This session has 4 parts. The first part is introductory slides about the role of Sharjah Education Council. The second part is the most important one because it is a detailed description and explanation of the award evaluation standard. Whereas the third part is a showcasing of an exemplary award-winning portfolio by one of your colleagues. Her name is Mira Faraz, and she will be with me at the end of this presentation. Mira won the award last year, and we really would like to thank her for accepting to participate with us this evening. The last part will be the QA session, the QA question and answers, which means you will be given the opportunity to ask all the questions you needed. Now, if you have any questions during my presentation, please just write it down in the chat box. My colleague, Mr. Mahmoud, will help me collating all your questions, and hopefully by the end of the session, we will answer all your questions. One more thing, Mr. Mahmoud will kindly activate the raise hand feature, okay, at the end of the presentation, and this will give you also the chance to switch on your mic and to ask any questions you have. Now, let's go to the first part. The first part of this orientation session. The first slides are introductory slides about both Sharjah Education Council and Sharjah Award Sharjah Award. So we will be talking in the first part about Sharjah Education Council and Sharjah Award. As you all know, my dear students, my dear parents and teachers, Sharjah Award was founded by His Highness Sheikh Dr. Sultan bin Muhammad Al Qasimi, Supreme Council member and the ruler of Sharjah 27 years ago. And it was the first educational award at the country level. It was founded for one sole purpose, which is recognizing and honoring outstanding students and practices, outstanding people, not only students, because the award is not only for the students. And I think you are also aware that Sharjah Education Council is a local government entity based in Sharjah, mandated to enhance the quality of education at the Emirate of Sharjah. And one among the great things Sharjah Education Council is doing is administering the Sharjah Award. And this slide shows you that Sharjah Education Council has a clear vision and mission. Now, what is the deadline of submission? The deadline for submission, the nomination form, is April 15. So all application forms, all nomination forms should be submitted before April 15. Please contact the award coordinator at your city or at your emirate for further information. As you also know, the award has 12 categories listed as you see in front of you at the screen. The categories are 12 categories. 2 of these categories were launched this year, which means that Sharjah Education Council is expanding what they're doing. Now, what do I get if I win the award? In addition to the recognition and to the award badge from Sharjah Education Council and from Sharjah Award, you will get the award trophy, you will get the award badge, and you will also get a large financial reward as an incentive, about, as you see, 14 to 18,000 dirhams cash. So how lucky you are. So these are the rewards for the other categories. Now, let's go to part 2, which is the most important part of this session, which is the nomination standards, the evaluation, before the evaluation standards, I'm sorry. What is, or who is the award for? Who is this award for? This award is for you, for the outstanding students. And what are the characteristics of an outstanding student? The outstanding category student is designed to recognize and honor outstanding students who have exceptional personal qualities, exemplary character, and a passion for serving the community, the ability to lead and active as a positive role model for other peers. In addition, outstanding students are those who demonstrate high academic results and active engagement, and who demonstrate active engagement in extracurricular activities and extraordinary talents. So, if you are a bright student, if you are a high academic achiever, and if you have a talent, and if you are serving the community, and you have innovative ideas, projects, this is the right place for you to showcase your abilities and skills. Sharjah Award is not about getting a cash money or getting the SEC badge or the award badge. It's about you. It's about documenting your skills and your abilities. It's about showing others that, yes, I deserve to be recognized. The main purpose of today's session is to show you step by step, page by page, how to complete the nomination form. And hopefully, by the end of this session, you will have a better understanding of the entire process, and you will be able to fill all the required field accurately and successfully. Now, what to do first? Yes, I want to participate in this award. So what is the first thing I need to do? Well, I strongly suggest that the first thing students should do is visiting Sharjah Award website. Why? Because you need to download 2 things: the nomination form and the explanatory guide. Download them, save them on your device, and read these two documents carefully before you start completing the form. Reading the explanatory guide is a prerequisite, for completing the nomination form, because you need to fully understand what the components of the nomination form are. You need to fully understand the evaluation standards, which we will show you in a minute, and I will take you through one by one. Now, let's go through the different sections of the nomination form, section by section. In the first section, the first 2 pages contain terms, as you see on the slide, contain terms and conditions and tips for nominees. Terms and conditions, special terms and conditions, nomination, and tips for nominees. Now, to save your time, I will focus on the most important requirement the nominees should meet. Who can apply? I'm summarizing these first 2 pages. This is actually what I'm doing now. The award is open for students from grade 4 to 12, enrolled in both private and public schools in the United Arab Emirates. So if you are a student from grade 4 to 12, you can participate in this award, but you need to be a high achiever. You need to be 90. You need to get a score of 90 and above in the last 3 academic years. And you shouldn't have been awarded the Sharjah Award at least 3 academic years prior to the nomination year, which means you can't participate 2 years at the row. You can't win. You can participate. If you win last year, you can't apply one more. You can't apply this year. Now, how do I organize my portfolio? This is one of the most common questions we keep getting from our dear students. How do I organize my portfolio? How do I organize my file? What shall I do with the nomination form? These tips will definitely help you organizing your file. The first thing you should do, I strongly recommend that you create a PowerPoint presentation file to post all your attachments and evidences. Do not attach them to the nomination form. You need to have a separate, I'll say it again, you need to have a separate PowerPoint presentation file in addition to the nomination form. In the nomination form, you just need to type the number of the evidence you are attaching. So the judging panel will be looking at two documents. The first document is your nomination form, and the second document is the PowerPoint presentations or the evidences. But remember, the evidences should be documented and organized well. The other things, please use the most recent evidences you have. And we will talk about, when we say evidence, what we mean by evidences. And please make sure that all your evidences are stamped and dated. As a judge, I want to see up-to-date evidences. I want to see evidences with clear dates to prove that you've done this recently, not 10 or 5 or 4 years ago. One more thing, please do not include more than 2 attachments to a single page. So when you are doing your presentation, PowerPoint presentation, per slide, it's enough to have 1 evidence. And remember, all applicants should attach a 5-minute introductory video about themselves. Okay. Now, how do I submit my nomination form? I completed my nomination form. How do I submit it? Print it out, prepare 4 hard copies, 4 soft copies using flash sticks, and submit them to the award coordinator in the educational zone or authority. So if you are, for example, in Sharjah, the award coordinator is at Sharjah Private Education Authority. So you need to contact him and ask him, how can I submit the nomination form? All these details are posted at the Sharjah Award website. Now, what happens after I submit my nomination form? I submitted my nomination form and I'm expecting feedback from the award administration. Yes, if your portfolio gets a score of 800 points of 80% or above, you will be short-listed. 2 judging panel will fully review your form. They will read every single inch of it and evaluate all documents, attachment, evidences, pictures, certificates you've submitted. And remember, please, higher points always go, when we talk about evidences, we will talk more about it. Higher points always awarded to the attachments that are stronger and significant. Evidences like certificates, for example, certificates of attendance, certificates of participation. If your portfolio gets a score of 80 and above, you will be shortlisted and you will be invited for a personal interview. Upon completion of the interview, successful candidates will be granted the awards. And I hope to see all of you at the stage in July 2021, inshallah. Now, let's go to the second section of the nomination form, which is your personal information. Nominees should fill in the fields accurately: name, nationality, gender, grade, easy things, school zone, I mean the location where the school is, address, contact details, sign it, and ask your school to stamp it. Do I need my school stamp? Yes, you do. We want to make sure that your school is aware that you are participating at the prestigious Sharjah Award for Educational Excellence. And my advice to you, dear students, from day one, keep your schools informed that you intend to participate at the award. You know why? Because the school will help you in this journey. Now, let's go to the areas of standards of assessment. Let's go to the evaluation standards. We have 7 standards, 20 indicators. 7 standards, 20 indicators, and your job as a nominee, as an applicant, is to address all these areas and to cover all these indicators. What does this mean? 7 standards, 20 indicators. I will show you now. Now, these are the 7 standards. You see them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? As you see, each standard has indicators, 4 or 5 indicators. So for example, let's take indicator standard number 1, which is presentation and communication skills. The question is, how many indicators are there under this standard? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Student's introduction of himself, student's goal, self-confidence and agility, fluency of language, the logical and gradual sequence during presentation. So these 5 indicators go under standard number 1. My job is to ensure that I'm covering when I submit my evidences and completing my nomination form. My job is to ensure that I'm addressing all these indicators. And as you see at the right column here, there is a mark assigned for each indicator, and the marking sheet or the marking scheme for each, the total mark is out of 100 points. We will go, of course, now through these standards. If you get 800 out of 1000, your portfolio will be short. Your portfolio will be short-listed. Now, let's go through them one by one. Number 1, first, personal and presentation skills. As I mentioned earlier, nominees should attach a 5-minute video exhibiting effective communication skills and showing personal qualities. Judges will watch your video and evaluate both the content and your presentation skills, your persuasive skills. Remember, why are you doing this video? You are doing this video to convince, to persuade the judges that you deserve this award. Show me, prove it to me. So I need to say, I need to see good presentation skills. How do I do this? How do I ensure that my presentation, the content and the presentation skills are good enough? I strongly suggest that you read the explanatory guide. You read the indicators. I want you to introduce yourself, to tell me who you are and why do you want to participate in this award? What are your long-term goals and what are your short-term goals? Why do you think you are a distinguished student? Why do you think that judges should say, yes, he is a distinguished student and this file should be shortlisted? And remember, use the proper language, use the proper vocabulary, and show me a self-confidence while presenting this video. And I have 8 tips to help you. Remember, this is a 5-minute video. So in order to record a 5-minute video, I strongly suggest that you look at these 8 tips. Manage your time well, organize your thought, and practice it. Practice makes perfect, my dear. Practice it with your father, with your mother. Practice your speech, your presentation before you tape recording it. And think about it. How do you want to look in this presentation? Do you want to look like me, very formal, wearing a necktie and talking to you from a nice room, or you want to do it in a place in another place, a place in the school library, for example, or in the classroom, or in your bedroom? Think about it now. And before I go to the other slide, one of the tips is avoid reading from the screen. Remember, I want a distinguished student. I want you to prepare, but this doesn't mean that I want you to memorize it by heart or to read from the screen, because the judges, when they see their video, they can tell whether you are reading from a screen or you are fully or well prepared for this presentation. The second evaluation standard is talent and hobbies. Yes, I would like to know what your talent is. And I would like to know, as a judge, what your hobbies are. As you see, this standard has 2 parts, talents and hobbies. What does talent mean? What does hobby mean? Now, this is a definition, and this definition is taken from Google. Why don't you do the same? I want to know what talent is. Search, go to Google, write in Google bar the word talent, and try to find a definition that you like, and a definition you think suits you. And this also applies to the hobby thing. Now, talent refers to your capacity, your ability. What are you good at? Whereas hobby is about your tendencies or personal preferences. My hobby is swimming. My hobby is playing guitar. My talent, let's say, for example, is mathematics, mental mathematics, or have another talent like music. Prove it to me. Now, what does this talent look like? You need to list two methods that you apply to develop your talents and your hobbies, because the judges need to know or want to know how you develop your talents and hobbies and what are the outcomes. You've been developing your talents and hobbies for about, let's say, two years, 3 years, 4 years. How did you develop how did you develop this talent, and what was the outcome? My talent, let's say, is mathematics. I'm good at numbers. How did you develop this talent? I attended many training sessions. Okay, this is one method of development. Okay, what was the outcome? The outcome, I won the first award in the mental, for example, mental mathematics at the country level. I'm just, by the way, giving example. I'm just giving an examples just to make it easier for you. Now, hobbies, the same. You need to mention two hobbies, methods of development, and you also need to show what are the outcomes of these hobbies. And remember to attach all supporting documents or evidences, certificates, membership cards, photos. Remember, photo is an evidence. But when you put a photo and a certificate on a scale, which one is heavier? To me, as a judge, certificate is heavier. That's why I strongly suggest that you select the evidences carefully. And please always read the footnotes to learn more about the number of methods required for each grade. Okay, now let's go to the third evaluation standard, which is innovation and creativity. We expect you a distinguished student, and we expect innovative or creative ideas or projects from you. And we would like to know if you have a, a unique project, a good project, a, a, a creative idea that you would like to share with us. And we want you to name this idea. What is the title of your project? A brief summary about this project. When did you implement it? How did you implement this project? What was the outcome of this project? Who benefited from your project? Peers, your colleagues, your classmates, your friends, your neighbors, your family. You've done a project. And let me 3 4 years ago, a girl submitted her application form to Sharjah Education Award, and the project was the motion sensor at the school bus. And this was a response to the incident, unfortunately, the incident which happened, and one of the school students were forgotten at the school bus. So she found it something. Now, again, think about an innovative project or idea that you've implemented and has served others. Now, when we say project, I'm talking to students aged 14 and 12. 14, I'm sorry, students from grade 4 to 12. So think about a project that you think from your perspective, from your viewpoint, that this is an innovative or a unique or a new project, and what you're doing is really helping others. This is how you should see the project. You should be proud of the small things you do. It's about showing how much you are proud of something you've done and something you think it's unique and you want to share with others. So if you've done something, please don't hesitate to share it with us. Again, remember that we need the outcomes of your idea, the outcomes of your project. What were the outcomes? What were the benefits? And how many people, how many beneficiaries were there for your project? Now, fourth, digital competencies. This is the part which I think you all like, and I'm quite sure that you will do well in this standard. Why? Because normally students are much better than us at the technology. Now, digital competencies, what is this about? It's about your information technology skills. It's about technology skills. Are you good at technology? How do you use it and why? Do we use technology in learning and in research? What applications, programs, website do you visit? Think about it this way. When you come to this standard, please think about it this way. Now, think about this meeting. How did we conduct this meeting? Virtually. How? By using Zoom application. Why did we use Zoom? Why not YouTube? Why not Facebook? Why not whatever application? I'm sure there are many reasons we can mention. Now, how many applications we can use to conduct virtual meetings? I know WebEx, I know Teams, I know Zoom. So these three applications I use to conduct virtual conferences and virtual meetings. Now, what about you? While studying, do you use any application forms? Do you use any websites? Do you use any software or programs help you with your school assignment, for example? So you need to mention these tools. You need to mention these websites. Do you have social media accounts? I'm sure you do. Do you have a Facebook page, Instagram account, Twitter, Snapchat, YouTube? Are you a YouTuber? The question is, how do you use these? How do you use these accounts? How do you use these pages? And why do you use them? What is the purpose of having like a YouTube channel? Do you use it, for example, for awareness raising, for example? Do you have a YouTube where you encourage your classmates to help elderly, for example, or to keep the city clean, or to discuss environmental issues? So I need to know more about your technology skills. And as you see, this standard has 4 indicators, and I'm sure you will do very well in this standard. One more thing is, how do you keep yourself safe during navigating the internet and browsing the websites? What things we should aware of to ensure our safety? I'm sure you also have guidelines and you also have red lines that you don't cross. The last thing is, have you developed any application? Have you developed any website? Have you developed any games? Because I know that many students they have their own applications, they have developed their own applications, they have developed their own games. So if you have done one, please tell us about it. So this is what the fourth standard is about. Standard number 5 is activities and can I say something أستاذ محمود؟ يا ترى صوتي مسموع بشكل واضح؟
مسموع يا أستاذ زياد، مسموع. تقصد اللي عشان الأذان الصلاة جنب منك؟ لا، صوت حضرتك واضح.
أيوة.
لا واضح.
شكرا جزيلا.
لا العفو.
Okay. Now, the evaluation standard number 5 is about activities, competitions, and award. And as you see, this standard also has 2 parts: activities, competitions. 2 parts. So you need to think of the activities and the competitions or the awards you've been granted or you won. Okay. Now, I participated in many activities during the past 3 years. Yes, we expect that, and we know that you have participated in many activities. Now we want you to list 5 domains of activities that you participated in, such as religious, sports, health, cultural, social, national activities, etc. And give me 2 activities for each. Let's say the national activities. I participated in the December national celebrations. What was your participation, and what was the evidence of your participation? So nominees of all grades should list 5 domains of activities they participated in, and you should always remember this: use the activity once and avoid using it twice. Don't use the same exact evidence more than one, and ensure to enclose, to attach all the supporting evidences, certificates, and photos. For competitions and awards, the second part, as you see, now we come to competition and awards. You see this table? We've got 9 competitions and awards. Please complete the table and show the evidences. And remember, we need the competitions that you participated in, either participated in or won. So if you won this activity, let's say, again, let's go to the mental arithmetic. You participated in mental arithmetic competition, you won, so you tick the column win. If you didn't, you tick the participation column, and of course, you should provide the evidence whether for winning or participation. Now, this is an interesting evaluation standard, and my experience tells me that all our students doing very well at this part. And again, it has two parts: voluntary services and charity. Voluntary and charity. Volunteer, something voluntary you do. What did you do voluntarily, if you want? What things have you participated in voluntarily? Okay, if you don't know what volunteer means, again, I expect you to be a distinguished student. Please go to Google, search what voluntary mean, and search the difference between charity and voluntary community services. Nominees of all grades should list 7 voluntary services, 4 at the school level, 2 at the community level, and 1 at the national or international level. For charity, please only list 3 services. And remember, my dear students, the value of the voluntary or charity service is on the impact of it, the impact. Now, for charity, sometimes some of our students submit a receipt of donation, which is good, and we highly appreciate that. But how often do you do this? The receipt says that you donated 10 dirhams 1 year ago. Is this considered a charity? This is something to think of. Charity, we need to be consistent. Consistent. Show the judges something, show the judges that you are consistent in your voluntary services and in your charity services. And again, you should, of course, use all the supporting documents and evidences. Okay. Now, the last evaluation standard is the self-development and assessment. Okay? Now, this is standard number 7. Nominees of all grades, we need to know, how do you assess yourself as a student? What do you do? What methods do you use to assess your performance? How do you know that you are at the right track or at the right path? So we need all nominees of all grades list 4 personal skills and abilities and explain the methods they apply to develop them. Now, what personal skills do you have? For example, I have a skill of, let's say, public speaking. For example, I'm just giving an example. Or communication skill. How did you develop this method? And how and where did you develop this method? Now, you've listed 4 personal skills, and you need to list 3 outcomes of these personal skills. I gave an example that one of my personal skills is public speaking. Okay, what is the outcome of this personal skill? Did I win a competition? Was I, am I an influencer? Did I manage to convince or to influence people to do something? So we need the outcome, and of course, the outcome should be evident. Remember, dear student, Sharjah Award is an evidence-based, let's say, award. So all you submit should be supported by evidences. So, of course, all the 3 outcomes should be related to the domains or the areas or the personal skills you mentioned in the previous skills. The judges would like to know about the tools you use to assess yourself. Now, I am a distinguished student. I am a successful student. How do you know this? What tools do you use? Okay, I complete surveys, online surveys. I ask my teachers for written feedback. I do the IQ test, for example. So what tools are you using to assess yourself? How do you identify your strengths and the areas that need development or improvement? How do you evaluate? I'm just throwing questions to help you understand what exactly we need. How do you evaluate your own work and learning progress? Nominee, of course, you can use nominees, normally what the students do, they submit the results of the questionnaires, their peer assessment, personal evaluations, teachers' feedback, etc., etc. So this is about the tools you use to evaluate yourself. I have. Now we reached to part number 3. I'm very excited. I'm very excited because we are about to introduce Mir Faraz. She won the award last year, and Mir
Mr.
will
Ziad,
yes.
Mir is a boy, please.
Mir, I'm sorry. We are about to introduce Mir, and Mir he won the award last year, and I'm very excited. Thank you very much, Mir.
Thank you.
Mir, can you turn on? Is it possible that you turn on your camera? I would like to see you. If this is okay, if you don't mind.
Mir, now you have all facility to turn on your mic and the camera also. His camera is on.
Wow. Hello, Mir. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
I'm very well. Thank you very much for being part of this presentation. Thank you for taking the time to present to your students what you've done during during last year. Mir is about to share his experience with the award, okay? And we would like you to brief us. You have only like 10 minutes. You have only like 10 minutes, Mir. Please, the floor is yours, Mir. Go on.
Thank you. Can I share my screen?
Yes, please, Mr. Ziad, can you stop sharing your screen?
Of course.
To be able, Mir, to share his screen. Okay, go ahead, Mir.
Can you see it?
Not yet. Yes, we can.
So we'll start now.
Yes, I can see it.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I wish to begin by saying what a tremendous honor it is for me to be able to be presenter on the platform of the Sharjah Education Council and Sharjah Award. I take this opportunity to introduce myself. My name is Mir Faraz, and I study at the Winchester School of Jebel Ali, and I won the Sharjah Award in the 26th cycle. I'm 10 years old, and I'm an Indian who was born and brought up in the UAE. I feel immensely proud to belong to two of the greatest nations in the world, the incredible India and the unmatchable, exemplary United Arab Emirates. Once again, I express my gratitude to the Sharjah Education Council and Sharjah Award for having me here this evening. The blessings of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. Let us begin. Can you see the next slide?
Yes, we do.
So what does the Sharjah Award mean to me personally? It means unwavering hard work, dedication, commitment, and the promise to always pursue excellence. It is nothing short of a dream come true for me. And to make a dream come true, one has to work towards that dream. I truly believe that to apply for this award is to undertake a journey towards excellence. I believe that the Sharjah Award is not a one-time or a one-day achievement. Rather, it is an initiative which aims to be an enriching learning experience to everyone that applies for it. The expertly divided sections of the nomination form cover all the areas that students must pay attention to in order to become better versions of themselves. When we set out on this journey, we set out on a road to self-realization and self-betterment. So the qualities imbibed are not just to fill up the columns in the form, they actually become virtues that we have to follow every single day. Preparing to apply for the Sharjah Award for Excellence taught me to work with sincerity, diligence, honesty, and invest my 100% efforts in everything that I did. I believe that on the way to prepare oneself as a worthy candidate for this highly prestigious honor, one gets to develop so many competencies and imbibe work habits which will become our life values. I understood how important it is that I pay undivided attention to my academics. I ensure that I never miss school and my attendance is always 100%. It is also very important to pay equal attention to all subjects because that's what makes the perfect student. Apart from classroom sources, it is extremely important that you consult outside sources like websites and books to supplement your learning, and never ever leave any topic with a doubt in your mind. Excellent students have an endless wish to learn more. One of the most important requisites of the Sharjah Award is educational excellence. You must have acquired an average percent of 90% in the past 3 years, and for that, it is important that you give undivided attention to your academics. One value that is very crucial when you are applying for the Sharjah Awards is innovation. Innovation is truly one of the most essential skills that a 21st century learner must have. So, how do we look at innovation? It is basically forward thinking and finding new ways to do things, which will allow us to grow as individuals as well as benefit the community that we are a part of. It is very essential to remember that when you take up an innovative project, it is not just for the sake of a couple of days or a few weeks. Rather, it is something that you believe in and something which will leave your mark for the better. And innovation is not just something that you attribute to technology alone. Rather, it is about doing things differently, whether it is carrying out an initiative to benefit the community or finding a way to make learning more enjoyable, as well as working on your hobbies and talents. So think about it. There's something special in every individual, and this something special is what the Sharjah Award celebrates. Hence, be creative, be unique, and most importantly, believe in what you are doing. It is also important that you explain your idea in a very clear manner. Since you have worked on your initiative, you know what it is. But remember that the judges are seeing everything for the first time, so be to the point, clear, and descriptive. The Sharjah Award lays great emphasis on values like environmental protection, humanitarian endeavors, philanthropic initiatives, and so on. These initiatives include a wide variety of activities like cleanup drives, tree plantation drives, environmental campaigns, campaigns to help the community, like collecting items and donating them to various philanthropic organizations in the UAE, and participating in walks and fundraisers devoted to various causes. And it is important to not just carry out these activities yourself, but also be successful in inspiring others to do the same. We are very fortunate that we live in a nation which is so devoted to protecting the environment as well as contributing to the community. And there's so many organizations here where you can volunteer to support various causes. Remember, the judges also want to see your leadership skills and your capability to inspire others, so do showcase that adequately. A very important ethos of Sharjah Award is sharing and giving. But there's one thing that you need to remember, that there is no end to sharing and giving. Hence, when you take up a noble work, don't just take it up so that you can put it in the award form. Take it up because you believe in it and you want to continue working on it, because there's no end to how much good work you can do. So choose initiatives that you are truly passionate about. A lot of organizations here in the UAE are very kind and are happy to give volunteer certificates for their time and effort. When you are collecting evidence, you can also use pictures. For example, if you were doing environmental work, you can take pictures of yourself recycling plastic bottles, newspapers, taking part in a cleanup drive, etc. However, it's also important that, for example, when you were doing humanitarian work and you were giving food to people, then make sure that the person is comfortable with taking a picture and is okay with it, so that you can make sure that their privacy is not violated. Participation in the Sharjah Award helped me hone my talents and helped me really understand that I need to work in a systematic manner to develop my competencies. Like I said before, every individual has something special. Some of us are very good at playing musical instruments, singing, writing, sports, art, public speaking, and so much more. So ask yourself, what is that one thing that you believe sets you apart from everyone else? Something that you believe in and you are very confident about. That is your talent. That is what makes you shine and makes you the individual that you are. The Sharjah Award works in a very systematic manner. So when you were talking about your talent, you will first have to determine the methods of developing that talent. For example, if your main talent is painting, first you will list all the things you did to master that talent. For example, taking part in various competitions, attending workshops, doing courses, and so on. And the outcome of your talent would be evidence of winning competitions, etc. So make sure that you were very clear when you were stating the methods, the outcome, and the relationship between the two. Aspiring to win this prestigious honor has taught me that nothing is impossible, and that with hard work, one can achieve the loftiest goals and realize the most sought after dreams. What the Sharjah Award exemplifies is that with hard work, perseverance, and dedication, you can develop new competencies, nurture your talents, as well as be a responsible and useful global citizen. By following the guidelines of this prestigious award, we can enhance our excellence and maximize education outcomes. When you are filling up the form, you will be able to celebrate all of your achievements and at the same time also realize that what it is you need to do more to be eligible for the invaluable honor. My advice to you is to believe in yourself and to be true while filling up the form. Whenever you are setting out towards a new goal, remember that there are going to be challenges and that the road to success is not always a smooth one. But you should continue to work with patience and consistency to achieve your goals. One of the challenges which I personally faced was to find the right balance between academics and co curricular activities. And this is where an extremely important skill came in, that of time management and discipline. I always believe that the most precious commodity in the world is time. No effort or amount of money can bring back the time which has passed by. So remember to use your time very wisely. Set aside a timetable which will help you devote your time to your studies as well as extracurricular activities. At the same time, allow you to pursue your hobbies as well as spending time with your friends and family. One more thing that you must remember is that you must not repeat any evidence. That is a challenge that I did face because one evidence might fit in different categories, but you have to make the right choice by allowing yourself the time to really understand what fits best in each criteria. I wish to reiterate what a profound honor it is to win this prestigious award. I wish to take this opportunity to say thank you to His Highness Sheikh Dr. Sultan bin Muhammad Al Qasimi and the Sharjah Education Council for giving me what I consider to be one of the most prestigious gifts of my whole life. This award is testimony to the kindness and generosity of the rulers of the nation and their dedication and commitment to excellence, and I am beyond grateful to be a recipient of the Sharjah Award. Thank you for listening to me today, and thank you for the opportunity to be on this platform and share my experiences. I wish the students aspiring for this award all the very best. May Allah be with you. Take care and stay safe. Shukran lakum and masalama.
And let's go to the last part, which is part 4, the questions. Mr. Mahmoud, the floor.
Yes, the question, we have a lot of questions. We hope to answer all of them, but we can go through. There is a question from Mr. Abdurrahman, or our student Abdurrahman. He asking, should the subject separately be grade A to apply for the award?
Grade 8? From
grade
grade
A, no, grade A, يعني about the scoring.
The scoring, yes, grade A is equivalent to 90 and above. So the answer is yes, he can apply.
But sometimes we got some question from others. They asking all subjects should be A, or can accept one subject B or B plus.
Well, the overall score, we are not looking at the subjects. We are looking at the overall score.
Okay,
so the
fine.
overall score should be A and above. So if the overall score is descriptive, not numeric, so A will be equivalent to the 90 and above score.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ziad. There's another question from Sayeda. The portfolio should be attached in the PowerPoint or separately?
Well, I strongly suggest that each applicant should have like 2 documents to submit. Okay, they can have it in one document, but they should be separate. The idea is the judging is looking at the nomination form and the evidences. So you need to be very organized. Remember, you are a distinguished student. So show me that you are organized. And when I suggested PowerPoint presentation, because it's user-friendly, the application itself, the PowerPoint is user-friendly. So you can have a slide similar to the one I've just presented, a slide number 1, evidence number 1, and you just copy paste your evidence on this slide. I think this is the best way to do it. Of course, there are many other applications like PDF. You can do it PDF. The idea is to have an organized file.
Thank you, Mr. Ziad. Another question regarding to this. To run ASCAP, the video must be attached in the PowerPoint or put it in separately?
Separate. The video, it could be both. Thank you for this question. Now, let's say standard number 1, it could be a hyperlink. The judge click and play, as simple as this. So it could be both. I strongly suggest that you put it on the PowerPoint, you put it like a hyperlink. This is the introductory video, and me as a judge, just click on the link and I watch the video.
Reem asking, what is that question should be say in the personal video? Are there any specific questions?
Well, that's a very good question. Thank you, Reem. Now, if the portfolio is shortlisted, okay, by that time the judges know everything about the participant, okay, because they read every single inch of the portfolio. Now, during the personal interview, what the judges want to know is to confirm, let's say, that's the word, is to confirm what they've seen at the portfolio. So we will be asking him questions about what he has already done. So it will be like a 15-minute or a half an hour interview discussing the students or the applicants, the nominees' portfolio.
For consideration about the last 3 years scoring, we said the score should be 90 and above, or A equivalent 90 and above. But someone asking if 1 year they took 89.
Well, remember, this is this award is for distinguished students, and one of the requirements or conditions is 90 and above 3 years at the row. Okay, so this is something maybe he needs to ask. Maybe he needs to ask the award administration. But what the application form says, 3 years at the row should be 90 and above.
Okay, another question. Are there, regarding to the number of copies, you said 4 copy and 4 copy. He said should be 8 copies. You said 4 copy hard copy and 4 soft copy. He asking any 8 copies or specific 4 hard copy and 4 soft copy.
4 hard copies, 4 hard copies, and 4 soft copies. So if this is, I'll show you an example because I have the nomination form in front of me here. So this is the nomination form. Okay, this is a hard copy, and we also require a soft copy of the same, and we need 4 hard copies. The idea is because sometimes for a judging panel of 4 people look at each of these copies. So we give each judge a copy, a hard copy, and of course, an electronic copy or a soft copy.
Okay, we have another question from. Is it acceptable to specify one evidence in more criteria, in more standards, more than one standards?
Well, as Mir said just now, use the right choice of evidences is a key to success. Okay, so and you need to think before submitting the evidence. What is the weight of this evidence? If it is a certificate and this certificate is stamped, it will be heavier than, for example, a photo. So the answer is yes, one evidence per indicator is enough, but we strongly suggest two evidences maximum. Don't go beyond two evidences per indicator or per activity. Don't go. If you have one, that's fine. If you have two, that's fine. But don't go more than two, I would say.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ziad. Someone asking, do I upload evidence for what mini talent? I think it's the same.
Yes, of course you need to. This is an evidence-based audit. All you do should be supported by evidences.
Yes, okay. In section 6.1, the volunteering, can we have more national level events or it is fixed number?
Well, yes, the answer is yes. But if you have national, international, community level, school level, I strongly suggest you mention them all and always choose the ones you are, let's say, proud of and the ones you have evidences for.
Someone asking about the download files, but I don't know which files he means.
Maybe he's talking about the nomination form and the explanatory guide. My advice is please visit Sharjah Award website and download both documents from the website.
I will write down the Sharjah Award website here in chatting. They can also award. I write down on the chatting. If anyone want to visit the Sharjah website, he can find it in the chatting. Okay. Someone asking, he is in grade 12. Should he attach grade 9, 10, 11 marks or 10, 11, 12?
Okay, that's a good question. Now, the deadline submission is April. Deadline submission is April, and he's in grade 12. So the best thing to do is to submit year 11, 10, and 9. And if he can also submit the report card of term 1 of grade 12, this also will be helpful.
Okay, regarding the same question, she asking the Indian curriculum, they starting from April to February. So which years should be put in evidence and the scoring sheets?
Yes, we are aware of this. We are talking about the 3 previous academic year, whatever the start of the academic year is. So we're talking about 3 previous academic year. So for CBSE students, grade 12 students, now in April will be the beginning of the new academic year for them. So if he's grade 12, for example, in April will be in grade 12, so he should submit 11, 10, and 9.
Also, for standard number 3 in innovation and creativity, any project done with robotics class can be enclosed?
Any project.
project with robotics.
Yes, any project, whatever the project is, and the student feels that he wants to share with us, please don't hesitate. Do it, submit it. Okay, but remember, read the explanatory guide very carefully. So we are open and we accept all the projects.
Okay, that's fine. And here also you said, what is the domain? Someone
The
asking.
domain is the area. The domain is the area. So for example, for the activities, there are 5 domains. The domain is what the domain or what is the area of activity you participated in. Let's say sport. Sport is a domain.
Okay.
National celebration is a domain. Social community service is a domain. This is what meant by domain in the nomination form.
Reem asking the presentation and the nomination form should be presented in Arabic or can do it in English. I think English also available.
It is acceptable in English. That's why we have this presentation. It is in English, of course.
Okay, thank you. Can we send the PowerPoint after the meeting or our emails so it will help us? Thank you. He asking about to communicate maybe with you regarding to this, but for that question and all similars, we cannot send any PowerPoint for you, but inshallah, and we will present snaps of this session on Sharjah Education Council Instagram account. They can follow up that account, and also you will do more sessions. You have to follow the Instagram account to know in which dates we will hold inshallah another sessions like this. I hope I answered this instead on behalf of Mr. Ziad. Also, actually, the number of questions is going increasing. Shall we fill the reference number?
Yes, please. And this is very, very important. We need the reference number is the evidence number. So let's say in the activities, I participated in a marathon or in soccer, for example. What is the evidence? The number of evidence is number 10. The reference is number 10. So the judge goes to the PowerPoint presentation, looks for number 10, and he sees your evidence.
Okay. Also, you're asking about the coordinator in Dubai Education Zone.
I think this.
He can visit the website, and there is an award the coordinators, and he can find what is the coordinators in any zone, in any authority. He can find the coordinator name and the coordinator also communications there.
Exactly. Thank you, Mr. Mohammed. Please visit the website for the award coordinators contact details.
Yes. In section 4.2, are academic competitions certificates valid?
What is the question again, Mr.
In section 4.2, are academic competitions certificate valid? If they're in any competitions?
Yes, they are. Yes, the answer is yes, they are.
Okay. Someone asked, what does the reference number mean?
The evidence number. The way you organize your file.
Yes, exactly.
We answered this question before.
Yes. Okay. Someone, he said he just here in UAE since only 2 years. I think he not applicable to participate in this category. Isn't
well,
it?
welcome to the UAE. I think you should need, and thank you for being excited and interested, but I think you need to wait 1 more year.
Yes, yes, exactly. In first one, outcome per domain, he asking he should to put 1 outcome or maybe 1 evidence per domain.
It depends on what grade are you in. That's why I strongly suggest you read the footnotes after the table or under the table. It tells you if you are in grade 4, for example, you need to mention 2 outcomes or 1 outcome. It depends on the grade you are in.
Mariam asking, she hasn't overall score, but the score for each subject.
Well, in this case, I strongly suggest that she asks the school for an overall grade.
And okay, that's good. Okay. Helmi asking, should we document all the answer in the nomination form and evidence in PowerPoint presentation? I think yes.
The answer is yes.
Okay. We have this repetitive question. Should the parents submit the files independently or through the school? Parents? We don't talk about parents here.
Yeah, well, you need, again, remember, my advice, the school should be aware that you intend to apply for Sharjah Award from day 1. Because once upon the completion of the nomination form, you need the school stamp. So you need, the first step is to get the school stamp, then you submit it to the award coordinator.
Rital asking if the first term for the current year also considered.
Well, my advice is yes, if you have the report card of term 1 for non-CBSE schools, because for CBSE schools, I mean Indian schools, it's not term 1, it's term 3 maybe, term 3, yes. Okay, so the answer is yes.
Are there any restriction of the number of nomination from the school? I think no, there is no any restriction for the number. Yes, no, he asking how many students from the same school can participate. It is open.
As many as you can.
Yes.
Remember, for distinguished students. So please, if you are a teacher, my advice to you, encourage as many students to participate as you can. And we expect all schools to encourage the students to participate in Sharjah Award for Educational Excellence, because this award was designed to recognize and honor outstanding students.
Okay, here we have another question. Someone, he said he is yet in grade 4, so should he take the first term for the current year? We said yes before.
Mr. Mohammed, for the interest of time, can I suggest something? You mentioned that you will produce a document for all the most frequent questions and you will publish it on the website.
On the website, yes.